One time we were in a prestigious regatta, and on one race we thought we took first place, only to find out that we had been disqualified because we did not see a particular race flag right at the start line. It could have been fixed pronto if the crew knew what the flag in question was and had seen it in time. But that seems like a tall order. Oh, I get it. These flags can seem bewildering. Just look at them all. To top it off, they are referenced by race judges by a letter. N, U, Z. How on earth can you keep the flag colors and their letters straight? Can you identify with that as well? But what if I told you there were some clever tricks that would make you a secret expert and a superhero on your boat? I'm going to show you some fun mnemonics for the most important race flags, the ones that you see nearly all of the time. You'll be able to recall them easily, whether in the heat of competition or maybe just after a long off-season and getting rusty. But first, if you like this idea, please click the like, subscribe, and notify. It really helps me to keep this coming, and sailing content in general out of the digital abyss. And I do appreciate your support. And I do this for the love of the sport only. The only thing I'm selling is the sport itself. Thanks. So, are you ready to be your race crew's most valuable player? Well, let's get into it then. Now, I know this is a video about race flags, but I really have to take just a few seconds to point out what I think is one of the biggest strategic mistakes of all, and what can make a lot of flags you see totally meaningless. And that is not having a copy of the sailing instructions, and if you have room, the racing rules of sailing on the boat with you. I prefer paper, not just because I'm old-fashioned, but because I think that phone screens are just hard to see on the water. The sailing instructions, and we just say the SIs, have all of the instructions about how the race will be run. The buoys. The starting sequence flags. They typically will refer to the racing rules of sailing, the RRS, when they align, which they usually do for a lot of things, but not all. Without the SIs, you may even end up on the wrong race course altogether. Yeah, I think it's a super important tactic to spend a few minutes with the crew to go over them, so that everybody knows what's going down, not just the skipper. Some of Sailing Team Tally-Ho's regattas have an upwards of 200 boats in them, like our upcoming St. Petersburg, Florida, Helly Hansen regatta. You don't want to be one of those deer-in-the-headlights boats that are aimlessly bewildered. You can prevent that. Now, on to the flags. The racing flags are borrowed from an international standard of uniquely colorful and differently shaped flags that depict a letter or number, so that, especially before the days of radio, could be seen with the good old eyeballs to send messages between ships. That's why you see a letter designation with them in the SIs. However, it's a big leap, I think, to associate a flag color and shape with its letter in implicit or automatic memory. If you can do that without looking at the book, you're better than I am, and most people probably. But for the rest of us, I like to use mnemonics and sort of forget about the letters. Our first mnemonic is a little bit of a stretch, but it's, "Aren't you glad you're here?" The orange flag is used to indicate when an RC boat is at its official place on the start line. You can think of it as, after working so hard to get to your regatta, you are finally at your first start. Aren't you glad you're here? The second mnemonic is, flag of blue, there you are through. The blue rectangular flag is used to indicate when an RC boat is officially on its finish line station. This is vital to know because the RC boat may be driving around doing other stuff, like starting the race with an orange flag. It isn't really at the finish until you see that blue flag. Flag of blue, there you're through. The third mnemonic indicates an event that has bitten even the best of us, and that is, big fat plus, it might be us. The big fat plus flag is used to indicate that someone was over early, OCS, at the starting line. With how close electronic race starting methods allow us to be on the line these days, be sure to have a crew member look for that big fat plus. It might truly be us. The earlier the better. The fourth mnemonic is for an event which can really cause confusion with the sequence if you're not on top of it. And that is, red, white, red, changes ahead. The red and white pennant is something you see a lot of, and it means that there's some sort of interruption in the race schedule. I actually don't use the mnemonic for this one, but I think of one of the first books I ever read as a kid, The Cat in the Hat. Everybody knows The Cat in the Hat. This is the Cat in the Hat flag. And, like the book, the Cat in the Hat is never alone. It always has Thing 1 or Thing 2 with him. When you see the Cat in the Hat out, you can always expect to see another thing flag that is indicating the type of interruption, like a postponement or abandonment. Two more of the big ones to keep you out of trouble. Hang in there. Our next is big black dot, can cost you a lot. When you see this yellow flag with the big black dot, it means that if you are over the start line early, you'll need to go round the end to restart. Very costly. Better to play it a little safe. The next one is not really a mnemonic, but like the Cat in the Hat is an association, and that is the Grand Prix flag. When you see the Grand Prix like flag, which in the Grand Prix indicates that the race is starting, in yacht racing, it means that the race, and possibly all races for the day, are being abandoned from the moment you see it. This one can be important if the RC sees an impending storm or other hazard and wants to get everybody off the water. Our last one for today is one that can get you DQ'd in a flash by the RC boat. And that mnemonic is yellow, red, yellow, take care of your fellow. Meaning the RC is mandating that everyone wear life jackets, which is a good idea anyways on one design. But if you get DQ'd for it, it's a double whammy. Ask me how I know. So if you see this flag out, and there's that one crew member that just is not wearing, you could save the day. In another video, I'm going to show how changes in the race course are communicated, a topic that causes loads of confusion on the race course if not understood. So hang in there and I'll have some new POV footage, with mnemonics of course. Be sure to click that subscribe if you haven't already, and you'll get it in your inbox. Thanks for watching.